Welcome to our talk.
Hey guys. Today we're just going to do a little bit of a life update. I'm going to preface the fact that I am sick right now. I sound a little bit groggy, sound a little gross. We didn't do one last week because I was sick last week as well. It's been like an ongoing thing for 2 weeks now. So we're just going to do like a little life update, mental health update. Yeah, I'm going to let Maddie take the floor for a bit.
Well, I moved back.
Yeah, we're not on Zoom today. We're in person today.
It was a journey in itself. Let's just say that. I definitely thought I could move back to my hometown, and I got there and a lot of things came up, and I mean, I could have stayed there, but for my own mental health, I just knew long term at this given moment I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
It
Wasn't the right move. You had to try.
Yeah. So I tried. I
Yeah.
got a job and I actually started to like it. I really started enjoying it. But it is what it is, and
Yeah.
I'm back. I got a new job. I start tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm gonna be
Yeah.
in the same field. It'll be good.
Yeah. We're gonna be working again together. So
Not at the same location.
not at the same
but
location, but we are gonna be working together again. So we're both kind of building more experience for our resumes, portfolios, and like future careers right now. So we're still in the social services field. Meanwhile, I think we're stuck here for life at this point.
I am anyways.
I am
with
for
my
sure.
social work degree.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
and like with that, like I wanted to explore my options, knowing what's out there. I haven't had lots of experience within the field, so I just want to see what my options are, see
Mm-hmm.
how I can expand my own knowledge and
Yeah.
be able to help others along the way to be able to create policies and procedures and like
Mm-hmm.
just help anybody
Yeah, for sure.
within that.
I think that's one of the biggest things I was looking into as well, just with finding another position was just more experience,
Yeah.
more education, something that I haven't done yet.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited. I started last week, so I think it's gonna be cool for both of us.
Yeah, it will be really good.
Mm-hmm.
I think just being able to talk to different groups of people, get different perspectives, not only within addiction, like we were dealing with, and mental health, but just like a total different scene.
Yeah.
Like total different scene.
Yeah, and like just like learning people's stories and where things stem from, and like there's just so many wraparound supports that like go unknown, and the more places that you kind of dive into, you learn about those other supports.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Learning new things every day, especially within this industry. Like, not only resources, but about people in general. Like, I don't know, I learn something new every day.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely.
That's what I love about the industry.
It
never gets boring.
No.
Ever.
Yeah.
You're not going into the same job every day. That's for sure.
No.
And I think like being at a desk all day, sitting there, working on a computer ain't my vibe.
No, it is not for me. No, ma'am.
That gets boring. I'm like, hey, I gotta do this paperwork again. Like,
Yeah.
didn't I just do this yesterday? Like, no, thank you.
No, it's not for me. I've done the desk job. I gotta be on my feet. Like I gotta keep moving, whatever. Like obviously, the field that we work in requires us to move around, interact with people, whatever. My job especially, like I'm constantly on my feet, walking around. Keeps you awake, keeps you on your feet, keeps you on your toes.
That's what I loved about the shelter. Like, it was like 3:30 started. It was already 11:30. I'm like, where did
like
the time go?
Honestly, it's very, very, very rare that working there that time goes by slow.
It wasn't even a job to me. It was like my family. I don't even know how else to describe it. No. It was just like I literally was telling someone the other day. I was like, I could literally be there 24/7 and never get drained.
Yeah.
Ever, because it was just like normal to me. It was like I'm hanging out with my people.
Yeah.
Like it was not a job to me.
I know.
And yeah, I still show my face there.
Yeah,
Because I
absolutely.
love it so much.
Yeah.
I'm always going to be there. I'm always going to help the people that I want to help.
Absolutely.
Anybody.
And like honestly, since you've come back too, so many people have been so happy to see you. And you know, you've been able to like impact them now in a different way, which is really cool.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's what I like about it. Like I love just the way they're like mind blown as like somebody's coming back.
Yeah,
like
totally.
that's
Well, and we also just passed through Thanksgiving weekend too. It can be a big weekend for some. You know, lots of people either are very family oriented and do the whole big family dinner thing, or it can be a pretty sad, like somber time for some. I know, like for myself personally, Thanksgiving is not a super happy time. The shelter Thanksgiving though I thought it was fantastic. Like I helped to do the setup, and you know, we put out pumpkins and tablecloths and like colorful napkins and stuff. Just made it like a little bit more like homey for everybody coming in. But we actually had I believe it was like a church group or something, and there was a bunch of like a kids church group or something had written a bunch of like positive notes on a bunch of like leaves and little pumpkin post notes, and we spread them all over the table. And like as I was like spreading them out, I was reading all of them, and like there was one that said "Don't give up," and I like started bawling. Like I'm just getting emotional thinking about it, because I mean, I've gone through a time in the last couple weeks where I've had my own mental health struggles, and I've been working really, really, really hard on myself.
Yeah.
I guess we'll kind of dive into like life update now that I'm like on that train. The past like I guess it's been like 6 weeks, give or take.
Yeah.
I have spent some time alone. My kids have been with their dad and grandparents. I had to do some major mental health work. I started going to counseling again. I started some new medication. Started exercising more, meal prepping. Maddie lent me her bike while she was in Saskatchewan, and it like honestly, it like completely changed my life. Like I was so thankful to have the people in my life, like between you and like my parents and my ex-husband's parents and my work family, and like honestly everybody played a role in my life in the past 6 weeks. Everybody had some sort of helpful information, or they helped me in some way. You know, they gave me a ride somewhere, they did whatever. And like I'm just so thankful for like everybody that's been in my corner for the last 6 weeks. Yeah.
And that's what the most important thing is going through those things, is having those supports. And
Yeah.
that goes back to even why I still show my face at the shelter.
Yeah.
Like we are their support.
Yeah.
That's what they need. That's what people need.
Yeah.
Like,
family is not just blood.
No.
No.
Oh, no.
No. I learned that. I mean, I learned that a long time ago, I feel like. But you go through different seasons in life. People come and go.
Yeah.
And then, but when you find your people and you know are going to be around, like it's life changing. It really is.
Sure.
We may not see these people on a daily basis for the rest of our lives, but we've made an impact on their lives for the rest of their lives. But they've also made an impact on our lives for the rest of our lives too. So, yeah.
So, and like with that, like learning, like I said, I learn new things every day. But not only that, I've found, especially within the industry, that when I'm talking to somebody, in a way, I'm healing myself. Like no matter the circumstance, no matter who it is, what it is, I'm learning off that person, which helps me heal in a way. It's like, oh, I never seen it that way before. So maybe I should try this or whatever. Learning off of somebody else really helps you and benefits you in the end. I've found anyways. Like that's what got me through a lot of things. And now like within that line of work, I feel stable. Like,
No,
that
honestly,
sounds so weird
no.
because of how crazy and chaotic, and people are like, how do you do it? Like, what do you
When
do?
you're constantly helping people, learn new coping strategies, you're playing these things over in your head over and over and over, and you're constantly reminding yourself of your own strategies that you use, and then you start applying them into your own life.
Yeah.
It's, you walk the walk, talk the talk thing, but like you end up starting to follow through with it.
Yeah, you're like manifesting it into your own
Totally.
life by talking
Absolutely.
to somebody else.
Like, I literally had a conversation with somebody the other day that was kind of having a little bit of like a panic / like anxiety attack.
Yeah.
And one of the things, like, I used to have extreme anxiety attacks. I haven't had one in a very long time, but I used to use like the 5 senses trick. So you just stop and you focus on 5 things that you can see, 4 things that you can hear, 3 things, and like so on. Just use the 5 senses. Doesn't matter what order they go in, but it totally just like redirects your brain, and like breathing techniques. I'm really big on meditation and breathing techniques. Always constantly telling people to breathe in through their nose and push it out through their mouth, and like doing it with them, looking them in the eyes. And then when you're doing it with them, you're also bringing yourself back down too. Like, you're just like, it's like you're recycling your own coping strategies in your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, with you though, like within the past 6 weeks, it's tough because you've never been alone.
No. Never. I've always had either a partner, a kid, a dog, a friend, something. Like I'm an extrovert. I'm around people. That's my thing. And the day that my kids left, my house was so quiet. I didn't have any dog feet pitter-pattering around my house. I didn't have kids screaming. I didn't have kids shows on in the background.
Yeah. You're like, what do I do with my time?
I felt so lost.
Yeah.
The first couple of days were really hard. They really were. And I mean, we've even filmed episodes in the past 6 weeks, and like no one's kind of known what's going on. But like, it was a huge transition in my life.
Yeah.
Like, and I've learned a lot too. Like, I mean, I've been able to, for the most part, keep my house very tidy, let's say. I'm not much of a clean freak. I get very overwhelmed with mess, and then I shut down, and I don't touch it. It's an ADHD thing, apparently. So I've heard. And when my kids were around, I would clean the house and they'd destroy it in 5 seconds. So like, what's the point of cleaning it if they're just gonna keep destroying it? Like, what's the point?
Yeah.
So I lived in constant chaos. And now, I mean, Maddie and I were literally just talking about this before we started, because she helped me tidy up the house a little bit, and focusing on doing that, because when you wake up the next morning and you wake up to a clean space, it's just like a fresh start to your day.
Yeah.
So it's one thing that I've like really been working on. I'm gonna say like 80% successful.
But I mean, think of it in a more positive way. It's better than before.
Oh, 100%, because it was like 0% successful before.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
It was an absolute disaster. Like, lived in constant mess.
Watching it from not the outside, but like seeing it from my perspective of how it was, like how just you in general were before, mentally, physically, like every aspect. There's been a lot of change in a short period of time.
Yeah.
And to be able to make all that change in such a short period of time takes a freaking lot out of a person.
Yeah.
It is almost like draining in the process of like, I'm trying to change. How do I change? What do I do? And then you just like, but you pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed. And I was like, holy, are you okay?
Yeah.
Like,
I know.
You're like, oh, I'm going to go do this. I'm going to go do that. I'm going to clean my house. Oh, I'm purging this room. And I'm like,
yeah.
Are you
doing
good?
I know.
Let me just check in again for the 3rd time today. Are you sure you're good? You're like, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I honestly, like, I just got so motivated, and like, I'm glad I did. I've like literally the past 6 weeks, I've never had as much motivation as I ever had in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And it was for the simplest things too. Like I just had motivation to clean. You know, I moved in, what was it, July, June or July or something like that.
July. Yeah.
July, yeah. And I still had boxes that I hadn't unpacked.
Yeah.
You know, and like my kids, my kids left for a bit, and I had to kind of clean up all their toys and rearrange things, and I just, all of that seemed like such a chore before, but now I tried to like, I just had to look at it a different way. And
Yeah.
sometimes when you're stuck and you're depressed and you're in a shitty mood, it's hard to look at something a different way.
Mm-hmm.
I also I started doing like meal hosting at the shelter.
Mm-hmm.
So not only do I work at the shelter, I also once a week I meal host. So at the dinner service, I do like a devotional and a prayer, and you know, just kind of greet guests, make sure they're happy, whatever, sit down, interact with people, and I've really enjoyed it. But I did a devotional on Friday, on my birthday actually, about like detoxing your mind, because it's something that I've been working on.
Mm-hmm.
And like thoughts here, you know what, I'm just gonna bring it up on my phone because it's fantastic and I'm really proud of it. So let's see here. Where did it go? Just a sec, guys, sorry. There it is. Okay, so often we think about the word detox, we're referring to the body, especially in the line of work that we work in.
Yeah.
Detox is always talked about as like people needing to detox from a substance. But there's things that you can detox from. There's tons of things that you can detox from.
Yeah.
There's bad people in your life that you can detox from. There's food that you can detox from. Like emotion, you name it. There's tons of stuff. So I just, in my little blurb here, I said, do we ever stop and think about how we can detox our minds? What mental clutter are we holding on to? So I really like focus on like my inner self, and I was like, I'm holding on to so much shit right now, and I need to let it out. So I started writing things down. I started journaling, talking, even just like talking to you especially. I mean, I talk to you every day, but like I was just very honest with people at work. People would ask me what's going on, and I would just tell them straight up. And like talking about it all the time, I was detoxing myself.
Yeah.
And then, so in the next little blurb here, I said, just as we have the power to choose what we put into our bodies, we have the power to select our thoughts as well. So we can choose what we put into our bodies, like the food, the substance, whatever. But we also have choices of what we put like into our minds. Like each thought can be very carefully selected.
Yeah.
So, you know, you detoxify your mind, your body, and your soul, but you can do it with one selected thought at a time. So, anyways, that was kind of my little blurb that I did.
It kind of goes into like what I was talking to someone about, I think it was yesterday, about being honest with not only yourself but others.
Yeah.
When someone asks you a question and you lie about it, you're lying to yourself.
Yeah.
You're not going to admit, you can't admit it to somebody else with that open conversation of, I'm not judging you, I'm asking you, I want your perspective, kind of thing. If you're lying within that situation, you're not being honest with yourself.
Yeah.
So I think that's part of also detoxing, is releasing that, putting it out there, and being okay with that.
Yeah.
Like, you're doing it, so why not be honest about it?
Yeah. Well, in the past couple weeks, like, people used to ask me if I was okay all the time. And I'd be like, I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm great. I'm good. Don't you worry about me. I'm fine.
Yeah.
But we all know what fine means.
Yeah.
When you're fine, you're not good.
Spit
it out. So I was honest with people. People tell me how are you? I'm like, feeling like a real big bag of shit today.
Yeah.
Straight up. Just told them exactly what was going on. And I got to the point where I didn't really care if there was judgment. Like, you can judge me all you want. But then when I was being honest, I found that there was less judgment.
And more
because people
support.
appreciated the honesty. Yeah. And people
And-
were way more supportive
Yeah.
because they saw exactly what was going on
Mhm.
and they were like, oh shit, okay, we do need to help, or we need to support, or we need to reach out, or whatever.
How can I help?
Yeah, for sure. The amount of times I've heard somebody say, how can I support you
Mhm.
in the last 6 weeks? And not even like, there's been a few people, there's been coworkers, there's been friends, whatever.
Mhm.
And now I've actually started saying it too.
Mhm.
I've started saying it to people like, how can I support you?
Mhm.
You know?
Because it's not like in the moment, I think people just jump to what they know, not how someone actually wants to be supported.
Yeah.
Because they think, okay, maybe this will help, or oh, maybe that will help.
Mhm.
But really, are you overwhelming them?
Yeah.
Or are you doing it out of your own goodwill? I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, in the end, it's not what you think would help somebody else. It's how can you actually support them?
Mhm.
Maybe they want space. Maybe they
Yeah.
just want a hug.
Yeah.
Like, literally.
Yeah. Well, and that's why you ask
Yeah.
too. And sometimes people would ask me and I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
Like I don't, and I would, but that's also me just being honest. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
And then if they suggested something, one of the things that I have learned to do is relinquish control.
Mhm.
Very hard.
Yeah.
Bit of a control freak. So when somebody offers me help, I have learned to accept the help.
Yeah.
Whether I think it might be helpful or not. Someone, let's just say hypothetically you're like, I'm going to come over and help you clean.
Yeah,
Well, no, I don't want you in my space. No. Take a step back, relinquish the control. All you want to do is help me.
Mhm.
So I need to let you do that.
Mhm.
And in turn, we're helping each other, honestly.
You've even told me this. You're
Yeah.
like, no, you need to let them help you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but no, I'm so independent. I
Yeah.
don't want anybody's help. No. And you're like,
Yeah.
you literally looked at me. You're like, Maddie, no.
Let people
This
help you.
is the situation. This is the circumstance.
Yes.
This is what they're trying to benefit for you.
Yep.
You're going to let them.
Yep.
I am so independent.
Yep.
I always have been. I don't like people helping me. I do not like asking for help.
Nope.
It is so hard for me, no
Mhm.
matter what the situation is.
Mhm.
I won't ask anybody for help unless somebody offers. And that's same with you.
I have learned to ask for help for very specific things.
Okay, let me just
Call me out.
Yeah.
You gotta call me out.
to certain people.
To certain people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Certain people I feel comfortable with.
Yeah.
I would have no problem stopping and asking you for help.
No.
No problem.
But depending on the circumstance too, I think.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Like, I mean, when all that stuff was going on
Mhm.
with my kids and stuff, it took you being like, okay, this is what we're doing.
Mhm.
Bring the kids over. I'm going to help you. And I was like,
Nah.
okay. That's
But you didn't want to.
Yeah.
You're like, no. And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
Like we went to your dad's and got the playpen. I'm like, yep, you're staying here. This is what we're doing. This is how. You're like, are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah.
Yep.
You
You
don't
bet.
have a choice.
Yeah.
You're staying
Yeah, this is
here.
what we're doing actually. Yeah.
But
No.
like, there's certain circumstances where I feel like the push is needed.
Yeah.
But also stepping back and asking someone, how can I support you?
Mhm.
Like, what does that look like?
Yeah.
It could be something little.
Mhm.
It's just as simple as asking that.
Yeah. Accepting help and asking for help are two very, very hard things.
Yeah.
They really are. But what I will say, and if this is going to help anybody, I hope it does, just take a step back, and if somebody wants to do something for you, just let them.
Mhm.
Whether it's something simple like buying you flowers.
Mhm.
So accept it. Accept it willingly.
You only tried.
Maddie did buy me flowers, and I literally bawled my eyes out. There was no reason for her to buy me flowers, but she did.
Oh,
And-
there was a reason. You
okay.
were having a bad day.
Okay, well, I was having a bad
You
day.
went through a lot.
I
and
went
was
through a
like,
lot,
No,
and
this is it.
it's hard to accept stuff like that. But it helps makes you feel good, and makes me feel good. When it comes to asking, like, if you need help with something, you need to ask for help.
Mhm.
Like, don't be ashamed. Obviously there are certain people that you feel more comfortable with, whatever, but being honest is key, and then asking for help. Like, don't be ashamed. Just reach out. People will be more proud of you and like accepting and helpful when you're asking, because they're recognizing that there is a need there.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh my gosh, yeah, well, how? And then that support comes back. And how can I support you? How can I help you? What do you need from me?
Yeah.
You know, it's hard, but we all need to learn how.
Yeah. And it's a challenging area for lots of people.
Yeah, it is.
And it's a work in
Oh,
progress.
I've struggled with it my whole life.
Nobody's gonna be like, oh yeah, can you get me this, or oh, can you do that for me? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I know.
It's tough.
Yeah.
It really is, and I feel like more people are givers than receivers.
Yeah. Receiving is really hard. Yeah, it really is. Especially like, I don't know, let's say like moving, for example. Like, people, I've moved so many times in my life, and people have been like, oh, I'm gonna come help you. I'll come help you pack. I'll help you unpack. And I'm like, okay, yeah, sure. Don't really want you to, but okay. And like, sometimes they show up, sometimes they don't show up, whatever. But like, the people that do show up to help you move, let them help you. You know, they come for a reason. They come to help pick up boxes, unpack boxes, put away stuff, decorate, whatever. You know, it's just like letting people do what they need to do to help you.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So, with that,
I think we're gonna wrap it up. There's a little life update. Podcasts are gonna be in person from now on. Yay!
I'm excited.
I think we're working on a new topic right now. We're looking for a guest speaker for it. We have talked about bringing one in yet, and we just kind of haven't found the right person yet, but we do have somebody in mind for this next topic. I think it's going to be a good one. We're going to kind of focus on some...
I think it's not next week, but the week after, because it's the 3rd.
Well, depending on whenever that person's available, I guess. We'll see.
True.
In the near future, in the next week or two, for sure.
Yeah.
But it's definitely going to be... It'll be a combination of addictions, mental health, and like health just in general.
Kind of elaborate on like medical discrimination.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about
what that looks like, and the new what they're now implementing out here in the Lower Mainland, and what that's gonna look like not only now but in the future, and how that has impacted from the previous years and within the vulnerable community. That's gonna be good. Yeah. I'm so excited.
There's just a lot. I mean, I feel like everybody at some point in time has not been super happy with the medical care that they've received in a doctor's office, a hospital setting, whatever. And that's what we're going to talk about. Yeah. But specifically our clients, the unhoused, the vulnerable, the addicted. That's we're going to focus on them and their stories and how they feel. Yeah. So
it's actually sickening.
It's disgusting. So buckle up. It's gonna be a wild one next episode, I think. So we're doing some planning, pulling some stats, stuff like that.
Talking to people about
And then we're gonna hopefully bring in a guest speaker. Yeah. So
that'll be good.
All right.
See you guys next week.
Okay. Bye guys. Bye.